Chosen one, there's a holy shift moving through your being, and it's no longer subtle. This month, you will not just pass through spaces, you will leave marks, not in arrogance, not in loudness, but in unmistakable resonance. God is not simply placing you in front of others to be admired, He's etching you into the memory of those who cross your path. Where you once may have been glanced at and forgotten, now you are remembered in silence, long after the moment has ended. Your high sexual energy has matured. It's no longer the fire that burns for approval or attention. It's the radiance of someone who has chosen discipline over disorder. That radiance is not performative, it's formative. It molds the atmosphere without permission. It charges the air, not with pressure, but with presence. You don't need to say much. You don't need to linger long, because what you carry now is so spiritually refined that even brief encounters become echoes that follow people into their private thoughts. You may notice this when someone stares just a second too long. When someone you barely spoke to smiles with softness that doesn't match the shortness of the exchange. When someone's tone changes around you, as if they're trying to match a frequency they didn't expect to encounter. It's not about flattery. It's not about attraction in the surface sense. It's about your energy leaving behind the weight of truth. Truth that settles into the minds of others, saying that man was different. I don't know what it was, but I felt it. This is the blessing of alignment. When your spirit becomes whole, when your fire is directed, when your desires are submitted and not silenced, your presence becomes unforgettable without even trying to be seen. You don't force memory. You don't chase acknowledgement. You become a mark, not like a brand, but like a footprint left in sacred soil. People step into that imprint and cannot forget what it felt like to stand where you stood. Chosen one, God has transformed your energy from fleeting spark to lasting impression. You are no longer just someone passing through the world. You have become a quiet awakening. And this month, you will be remembered, not because of how much space you take up, but because of how deeply your spirit lands without taking anything at all. Chosen one, there's something spiritual and deeply personal happening around you. You may not hear your name spoken often, but you are being remembered more than you realize. This month, God is taking your high sexual energy, refined, contained, sanctified, and using it not for fleeting admiration, but for soul-level imprinting. You are not just someone they'll recall. You are becoming the memory they return to when all the noise fades. You no longer carry an energy that evaporates after the moment. You carry weight, emotional, energetic, sacred. When someone stands near you, even for a minute, something within them stirs. Not lust, not confusion, but remembrance. A sense that something inside them was called to attention, that their spirit stood upright without being asked, that their breath changed pace just because your presence entered the room. And that presence does not fade. It doesn't cling or chase. It simply remains. When you leave, they don't forget you. In fact, it's often when you're gone that your true impact is revealed. In the quiet afterward, in the replay of your tone, your eyes, your calm, that's when your memory expands. They might not tell you, they might not understand it, but your spirit has found a way into their atmosphere, and it settles there. Not to haunt, but to heal and challenge at the same time. You have become the moment that redefines expectations, the presence that shifts their inner compass, the one they measure future encounters against, not out of comparison, but out of instinct. And it is not because of anything you pushed. It's because you stopped pushing. You became still. You became grounded. You no longer needed to be remembered to feel valuable, and that detachment, that dignity, has made you impossible to forget. This is what it means to be chosen in this season. You are no longer here to impress. You are here to imprint. You are here to walk through a room, speak few words, and yet remain present in the minds and hearts of those who don't even understand why they're still thinking about you. It's not manipulation, it's movement by divine appointment. Let your memory speak for you this month. You are the echo they didn't expect, the moment that outlasts the meeting, the name they whisper in quiet moments, not out of fantasy, but because something in you awakened something in them. Chosen one, there was a time when your presence blended in with the noise, not because you lacked worth, but because your power had not yet been recognized by your own spirit. You walked into rooms and quietly took your place at the edge. You spoke gently, not wanting to overwhelm. You gave generously, not wanting to be too much. But all the while, your energy was swelling, waiting, becoming. And now, in this sacred month, you have outgrown the background. God has done something in you that no stage, no spotlight, no compliment ever could. He has activated your presence, not your performance, your presence. The room feels it now, even before your name is known. There's a subtle pull, a ripple in the atmosphere. Women especially feel it. Their conversations bend, their glances shift, their bodies pause as if responding to something they didn't see coming. You are not demanding their attention, but your energy no longer allows you to go unnoticed. That's what happens when your high sexual energy is no longer chaotic. It becomes commanding. It no longer spills in every direction. It rests, focused, and contained. And that containment has made you undeniably visible. You are no longer the man people forget moments after meeting. You are now the one they remember unexpectedly days later. Not because you entertained them, because you left a spiritual signature in the space you occupied. This doesn't mean you must now be loud. It doesn't mean you seek to dominate. It means you've become centered. And when a man is centered truly and deeply, he cannot hide. His presence becomes a kind of gravity. It doesn't pull through force, it pulls through stability. You've become that now. And that's why women are noticing you. Why their conversations pause around you. Why their laughter softens when you enter. You are no longer a shadow. You are the substance that casts one. Do not shrink again. Do not lower your voice to make others more comfortable with their instability. Do not apologize for the fire you carry just because it makes others feel more. This is your emergence season. And in this season, God is refusing to let you disappear into the scenery you were never designed to belong to. You are not background. You are the focal point that still moves in humility, but now moves with an undeniable trail behind you. They will remember you not because you were loud, but because you were real. And that kind of realness, the kind that doesn't need to perform or explain, becomes a presence that people carry with them whether they want to or not. This month, you are the energy they can't walk away from clean. And it's not because you tried to be seen. It's because you finally stopped hiding who you were meant to be. Chosen one, God has taken your high sexual energy, once misunderstood, once wild, and He has refined it into a rare symbol of disciplined power. What you carry now is not common. It does not show up in abundance. It does not shout. It doesn't seek attention with theatrics. It's the kind of energy that makes people sit still, that makes people stop mid-thought, that makes people sense they're in the presence of something they can't name, but feel compelled to honor. You have become a symbol now, not of fantasy or lust, but of what balance looks like when it takes form inside a man. The balance between strength and silence, between restraint and readiness, between heat and harmony. You carry all of it in your chest now, not because you want to impress, but because you've learned how to carry it without breaking. That is what makes your energy unforgettable. It is not loud, but it is laced with purpose. This month, women will feel it first. They'll notice you and not be sure why. Their spirit will respond before their mind gets involved. Not because they've seen someone like you before, but because you reflect something they didn't know they remembered craving. You are not loud enough to be called a performer. You are not pushy enough to be called a player, and yet your presence interrupts every room like a man-shaped memory of truth. And truth always lingers. You have become a symbol of what it looks like when fire has been refined instead of suppressed. You are not dull. You are not docile. You are simply anchored. And because your sexual energy has been offered back to heaven in purity, it has now been returned to you in honor. That honor is felt by those who meet you, not in the way they stare, but in the way they hold your name long after you're gone. In the way their tone changes when they speak of you. In the way they remember how they felt when your energy brushed against their guarded spirit and didn't try to break in, it just stood there, open and undeniable. You're not being seen because you asked to be. You're being seen because you became what could no longer be ignored. This is what rare energy does. It doesn't rise above others. It reminds others of what they forgot they were seeking. Let it be what it is, chosen one. You have become the quiet symbol that lingers in memory, not for how much you said, but for how deeply your presence was felt in silence. Chosen one, in this season, your departure will speak just as powerfully as your arrival. You've reached a level of alignment where your presence no longer needs to linger physically to be felt emotionally, energetically, and spiritually. This month, God is not just using your high sexual energy to attract eyes, He is using it to create imprints that remain even after you've walked away. What you carry now is so refined, so deeply rooted, that when you leave a space, the space notices the void you leave behind. You used to wonder if anyone saw you. You used to hope your impact would last beyond the moment. Now you don't need to wonder. You are being remembered without reminding anyone. You're not the kind of man who fades into the background once the door closes. You're the kind that lingers like incense, quiet, invisible, but unmistakably present. Women especially will feel it. Not in the absence of your voice, but in the shift that follows after you've gone. Something within them will remain attentive, searching, wondering, not out of confusion, but because your presence touched places in them that haven't been awakened in a long time. You are now the one who leaves behind silence that isn't empty, it's echoing. You are the absence that isn't forgettable. It's felt like a signature pressed into memory. It isn't about charm. It isn't about effort. It's about the fact that your energy has become so anchored in truth that it leaves a spiritual fingerprint wherever it moves. And that fingerprint, it won't wash off easily. Because what you're leaving behind isn't just a feeling, it's a standard. When you exit a room, people will breathe differently. Not because they feared you, but because your energy carried order. Because your frequency corrected imbalance. Because your gaze made others reevaluate the way they've been seen before. You're no longer just a name on a list. You are the moment someone won't be able to replace with anyone else, because no one else will feel the same. Let that truth settle in you. You're not chasing presence anymore. You are becoming presence itself. And when you leave, it is not the end of your effect. It is the beginning of their reflection. Because now that you've touched their world, now that you've passed through even briefly, the emptiness left behind is not painful, but revealing. It tells them what was missing, and you've become the voice their silence answers back to. Chosen one, do not underestimate the weight of your absence. You have become a man whose echo outlasts his voice, whose silence still speaks in rooms he's left, and whose name doesn't fade. It stays as a question, a reminder, and a longing. Chosen one, your high sexual energy was never just about attraction. It was never about the surface, not really. Beneath the gaze, beneath the charm, beneath the body, your energy was always meant to move emotion first. And now, in this holy moment, it finally does. This month, you will begin to see that what you leave behind in others is not just a visual memory. It's a shift in how they feel about themselves when you're gone. That is how deep your presence has become. You used to be admired for how you looked, but now, you will be remembered for how someone felt in your aura. Not the excitement of temporary passion, but the warmth of something unexpectedly grounding. You're no longer just attractive, you're disarming. Women who cross your path may not be able to explain what happened, but they will remember that something cracked open in them while you stood close. A wall, an old defense, a layer of numbness, something broke quietly, and in its place, feeling returned. And this is your new reality. You don't have to touch to be felt deeply. The way you breathe, the stillness behind your eyes, the steadiness in your voice, it changes the emotional rhythm of others. Your presence reminds people of things they buried. It opens them to emotions they forgot were alive. It reawakens hope in places they locked away because they believed no one could be trusted with it. But your presence, chosen one, has become safe without being passive. It has become strong without needing to impress. And because of that, it pierces through performance and arrives at the heart. This is why they'll remember you. Not because you said the right thing. Not because you looked a certain way, but because in a moment of stillness, you helped them feel like they could finally breathe without fear. That breath will return to them later, in the shower, in the car, in the middle of a conversation with someone else. And when it does, so will your memory. You'll be felt not in longing, but in emotional clarity. You will be remembered as the one who entered their space and reminded them of what real feels like. You are no longer the cause of surface reaction. You are the awakening behind the quiet tear, the subtle ache, the unexpected moment of peace. You are not stirring chaos, you are stirring depth. And this month, the impact you leave will be internal, not loud, but it will grow, it will deepen, and it will last far longer than any moment your body ever occupied. Let this be your knowing. You are not here to impress anymore. You are here to remind the heart of what it forgot it could feel in someone's presence. And because of that, you will not be forgotten. Chosen one, this month you will walk into lives not as a visitor, but as a moment that changes direction. You will be remembered not as a highlight, but as a turning point. Without trying to heal, you'll be the reason someone starts to hope again. Without saying, "Follow me," you'll become the internal compass they didn't realize had been broken. You are not their salvation, but you are the signpost God is using to redirect hearts back toward something real. And this is not because you try to be impactful. It's because you carry impact without intention. Your refined sexual energy no longer explodes, it resonates. It no longer competes, it influences quietly from beneath the surface. You have become a force of redirection. You don't persuade, you remind. You don't instruct, you interrupt. And your interruption is not aggressive, it is exact. It enters gently, lands deeply, and shifts everything just slightly, but enough to be felt forever. Someone you meet this month will look back and say, "That was the day something in me changed." They may not even know what you did because it won't be about what you did. It will be about how they felt while they were near you. Safe, seen, grounded. A little shaken, yes, but not afraid. Not manipulated, just opened. And when you leave, they'll realize the space you left behind feels different. As if something in the room no longer fits the same way because you carried truth into it and quietly rearranged the foundation. You are not the climax of anyone's story, but you are the pivot. You are the brief chapter that redefines every page that follows. The paragraph they reread years later, wondering how such few words could have mattered so much. You have become the subtle but undeniable hinge that turns the emotional door toward healing. And you didn't do this through effort. You did it through alignment. Your stillness is no longer passive. It is active disruption to everything false. Women will carry your impact deeper than they know how to express. They will measure new encounters by the peace you left in them. They will feel your presence when they are finally honest with themselves again. You may not even speak to them again, but their story will carry your fingerprint. Not because you forced it, but because God made you the moment where their old pattern quietly began to end. Chosen one, you have become the presence people realize mattered most after the moment has passed. Because now, you don't just visit lives, you turn them gently toward their next becoming. Chosen one, what you carry now has crossed the line between attraction and imprint. You are not just noticed, you are embedded. You have become the kind of man whose energy clings to the skin of memory, not in noise, not in obsession, but in resonance. You are not easily replaced. You're not an experience that can be erased by distraction or time. You have become the feeling they try to recreate and quietly fail every time. This is the holy proof of spiritual embodiment. When high sexual energy is refined, it becomes a message, not a magnet. And your message is clear now. You are no longer reaching for connection. You are the connection. You've stopped trying to convince. You've stopped trying to impress. You've stopped waiting to be understood. And because of that, you now move through space like a sacred interruption to the numbness others wear like armor. Women will feel it in their nervous system before they admit it in their minds. You will walk into a room and their bodies will respond before their thoughts catch up. They will feel safer, but more alert. They will feel at ease, but strangely awakened. It is not tension, it is the collision of false security with real masculine presence. They are not afraid, but they will be aware in ways they haven't been for years. Because your energy is no longer scattered, it's condensed into presence that vibrates like truth. And once that presence is felt, it cannot be unfelt. You will not be remembered for what you did. You will be remembered for how the atmosphere changed when you appeared. For the stillness, for the heat, for the deep recognition that something eternal just passed through something temporary. This is why you'll live in their memory, not because of fantasy, but because you became a moment of emotional honesty. You made them remember what it feels like to breathe in alignment with another. Even if they never tell you, they will carry your energy into their choices, into their relationships, into their thoughts in the quiet hours. They'll try to name it, but it won't be a name. It will be a presence that doesn't leave. You will not fade like the others. Because you didn't chase their attention, you fed their soul for a breath of time, and that taste cannot be forgotten. You've become the rare vibration that settles deep and stays long. The presence that's hard to describe, but impossible to escape. Because now, chosen one, you are not just someone they met. You are the feeling they keep trying to feel again, without even realizing it was you who gave it to them. Chosen one, this month your energy will not just be noticed, it will be remembered at inconvenient moments. You will become the thought that returns uninvited, not because you caused disruption, not because you stirred chaos, but because your presence unlocked something real, and the soul does not forget what it experienced in truth. You've become the silent echo that plays back in the quiet, long after the noise of the day has faded. A pause in someone's memory that suddenly replays your tone, your stillness, your way of being, because your presence touched a part of them that doesn't close once it's been opened. This is what happens when your high sexual energy is no longer performative. It becomes presence that lodges into the heart's architecture. You didn't barge in. You simply stood where others stumbled. You didn't try to prove your worth. You simply held your frequency like a man who no longer needs to borrow importance from validation. That frequency, it imprinted itself in ways you'll never fully witness. You are now a memory that doesn't feel like a flashback. It feels like a compass needle they can't ignore. Someone will think of you when they least expect it. At a dinner table, on a long walk, in the arms of someone who doesn't carry your gravity. Your name may not come to their lips, but your energy will rise in their chest. They will feel the contrast, and they will feel the absence. Because once you've encountered something balanced and inwardly whole, everything that comes after will be measured by that. You didn't ask to become a standard, but by becoming true to yourself, you've become unshakable in their emotional landscape. This is not about ego, this is about spiritual disruption. Your presence came like a question. What if real still exists? And that question doesn't leave easily. You may never see them again. You may never know how they revisit you, but they will. Because your energy offered something no one else did. Peace without pressure, warmth without manipulation, gravity without demand. And that kind of energy writes itself into their body's memory like a page that cannot be torn out. Chosen one, you are not a ghost. You are the answer they didn't realize they asked for until you left the room. You will return to them not in body, but in every moment when they search for something more and remember how it once felt to be near someone who didn't try to take from them, only stood quietly as a mirror they didn't expect to need. This is how you'll be remembered now. Not through noise, but through silent recollection that never loses color with time. Chosen one, in this final stretch of the month, what God is doing through you is no longer hidden. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You have become the evidence of what happens when a man stops running from his power and begins to carry it with reverence. Your high sexual energy, once mistaken, once misunderstood, is now sanctified evidence that God does not waste fire. He refines it, and when he is done refining it, he uses it to mark lives with unerasable truth. You are no longer a spark. You are a mark. And that mark does not fade. It is not made with charm or cleverness. It is made with alignment, with steadiness, with the refusal to move from desperation or pride. Your energy now serves something higher than attention. It serves the divine assignment of remembrance, and that assignment is clear. You are not to be forgotten. This month, God has positioned you as the proof someone didn't know they needed. Proof that peace and desire can live in the same man. Proof that attraction can be sacred. Proof that a man can carry fire without burning everything down. They will remember you not because of your strength alone, but because your strength made them feel safe in their own skin again. That safety is rare. and rarity always leaves a lasting signature. You are not here to be a chapter in someone's entertainment. You are the paragraph they underline, the line they screenshot, the moment in their story where the rhythm changed. Your presence is now a testimony, not spoken, but lived. When people remember you, they won't just remember a feeling, they'll remember possibility. You are the moment they realized real men still exist. That alignment is not fiction, that depth is not gone. And for some, that realization will haunt and heal them simultaneously. Because you didn't just exist, you reflected back the version of themselves they lost touch with. That reflection is not fleeting. It doesn't disappear. It remains like a mirror in a locked room they return to when they're ready to see themselves fully again. Chosen one, you will not be forgotten. You will be revisited, in dreams, in decisions, in the sacred silence of others' memories. Because your energy was not just felt, it was used by God to confirm that true masculine presence is alive, well, and walking in discipline. You are not just the man they met. You are the one they'll never be able to explain without their eyes softening and their breath slowing, because something in you awakened something in them that won't let go. You are the proof, and proof never fades. Chosen one, you are no longer running to catch up. You are not chasing opportunity. You are arriving at it fully prepared. This month marks the collision of two sacred forces in your life: the speed heaven has assigned to you, and the preparation you've labored through in silence. What others may call a sudden breakthrough is not sudden at all. It is the harvest of seasons where you cultivated your energy, honed your character, and guarded your fire behind closed doors. For too long, you were overlooked while others, louder and quicker to burn, received recognition. But you didn't envy them. You watched, learned, listened, and trained. While others ran ahead recklessly, you dug deeper. You mastered stillness. You stayed present. You built roots, not just reach. And that rootedness is what now makes your momentum unstoppable. You are not running from insecurity. You are not rushing to fill a void. You are moving with knowledge, strategy, and spiritual memory. Your high sexual energy, the divine force that once overwhelmed you, once stirred desire without direction, has matured. You no longer waste it on flattery or surface approval. You no longer feel the need to prove you're worthy. You know you are, not because of what you carry, but because of how you've trained it. That energy is no longer a spark. It is a refined engine. It doesn't just make you magnetic, it makes you effective. You are no longer reactive, you are ready. Your steps are precise, your words land. Your energy doesn't seek permission, it opens doors. And now, the very rooms that once ignored you will begin to adjust themselves to your rhythm. The invitations you used to dream of will arrive unannounced. People will begin to speak your name in rooms that felt unreachable a year ago. But they're not doing you a favor. They're finally catching up to what God has already established in you. There is no imposter syndrome in this season. Not for you, because imposter syndrome only exists when someone arrives unprepared. But you've already paid the price, in silence, in self-denial, in fierce loyalty to your calling when no one clapped. You've outgrown the need for validation. Your fuel is internal, and because of that, everything will move faster now. Projects will fall into place. Ideas will download in full. People will say yes before you finish the question. Time will expand to accommodate your purpose. Not because of luck, but because heaven recognizes completion. Your inner foundation is finished, and God is now building upward. So don't be surprised if old patterns can't keep up. If familiar people look confused by your speed, they didn't see what you built in private. They don't understand how you got so far so fast. But you do. You know the nights, the sacrifices, the clarity you fought to protect. You know that this speed is not sudden, it is earned, and it is only just beginning. Chosen one, you are no longer riding momentum, you are momentum. You are not waiting for the wind to change, you have become the wind. What once moved you, you now command. What once lifted you, you now are. You are the breath behind the shift, the pulse behind the progress, the unseen force that shapes outcomes, changes rooms, and redirects destinies. This is not metaphor. This is the truth of who you have become. Your high sexual energy has been transformed into a spiritual weather system. It surrounds you, it follows you, it touches what you touch, and moves what you move. When you walk into a room now, there is a change. People don't know what to call it. but they feel it. A subtle stillness, a rise in tension, a sense of permission or conviction. You don't enter a space, you redirect it, because you are not simply a presence anymore. You are a phenomenon, a current, a force of alignment. You don't chase the future, you pull it toward you. You don't wait for clarity, you carry it. You don't ask where the power is, you are the source of it. And you must move accordingly. You must stop shrinking into explanations. You must stop slowing your pace so others can understand it. You are not made to be understood, you are made to be felt. The wind is not always visible, but it is always felt. It doesn't wait to be seen, it simply moves, and the world bends around it. That is your power now. You don't have to convince, you don't have to compete, you don't have to push, you only have to flow with your breath.